Okay. So this is gonna be my first video recording for a weekly outlook analysis for Hidden Society. So first of all, I will usually start with EXY, and before I actually start, if there's any feedback or any improvement required from my video, please let me know. If there's any pair that you would like me to go through it before the week start, reach out to me, ping me in the chat or DM me for anything. And I will definitely add it in for the next one. So first thing first, I will usually go through DXY chart to see whether we have a clear direction on the USD pair. That will give me an idea whether to trade the major pairs or the cross pairs. So major pairs would be those pairs that are having the USD as correlation, and cross pairs would be non-USD pairs. So on a weekly outlook, I would usually demand for a weekly direction or a daily at the minimum, unless you are actually doing intraday or scalping, that will lead me to go down into lower time frame. So on the DXY itself, we can see that we have the external liquidity being taken from last week candle. If we were to go down a little bit more, we can see that there are on the Thursday candle, we had a pretty nice wick into both daily fair value gap over here. Um, if I were to go down a little bit more, just to give um, my perspective on DX1 on the short term, I would see that this low might have been taken going into the early week. So probably something like this. But I'm not saying that I could be 100% correct, but this is my perspective on the DXY. Um, on a weekly chart, I know that we are still bearish, but we do have a lot of imbalance in the premium. So I'm not surprised that price might come back to premium or even the 50% to actually take out all the liquidity over here and then come back down again back to the internal liquidity on the higher time frame. So I'm just gonna be KIV for this. Next one here is Aussie dollar, US dollar. On the daily, we had a pretty good move over the last week. Unfortunately, there was no entry given to me. Um, so price reacted very nicely on the daily fair value over here. On the Tuesday itself, a pretty large move. Everything, all the move finish up within the same day. Um, so right now, this is for a short-term play. If going into the market open during the Tokyo session, I'll probably look for a long, um, something like this, targeting the external liquidity again. Just because that price came back down here without too much of imbalance left behind, and we do see that the bearish fair value got inverted. So creating another H1 fair value gap here. So potentially we might see that price want to take back this external liquidity. On a daily wise, we just have to patiently wait for another PD array, see where we can have an impulsive move based on the fair value, a new fair value created in the coming days. Let me remove all this. So on a weekly for euro dollar, pretty nice move. Price wicked into the weekly fair value the week before last week. On Thursday itself, we had price came back, liquidate all this internal liquidity, and had a good move back up. I'm confident that this would be the last leg down before a full move back to the external liquidity. It's just that we want to find out whether which one would be the correct POI for us to enter along. Um, there will be two scenarios I'll be looking at. One is that price would hold this low created on the Friday. So eventually, if price go straight up or price might come back here again and then move up. So I don't see any reason that price will take out this low again. I don't think so. So I'll be keeping in mind on this as well. Just that the dollar wise is weak, so we will be looking at long trades for any pair against dollar. Similarly, for pound dollar, it will be the same. And in fact, pound is actually stronger than euro. So would be nice if we can catch along on the pound dollar instead of the euro dollar. Same thing for New Zealand dollar and the US dollar. But comparing all these four here, Aussie dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, and New Zealand dollar, I would be leaning towards the Aussie dollar, US dollar, and the pound dollar. Just because that these two are actually stronger than the other two pairs. Next one here is dollar cat. This is pretty sideways right now. On a higher time frame, I think we are bearish at this moment unless we do see an impulsive move, creating a new fair value gap here. But if not, I don't think we are bullish at this moment. More likely, we are bearish to the low. So I would not do anything on this pair at this moment unless I see a very clear daily candle to show us where the direction is going to. Um, dollar Swiss franc, pretty sideways. Nothing much we can do right now, just waiting. Dollar Japanese yen, the external liquidity has been taken out. There is no new bearish fair value has been created over the last 2 weeks. It would be ideal to actually wait for this monthly fair value to be created. That would need about eight more days for September to be finished. And then we can see that price might come back up here, fill up all this imbalance. And then personally, I'm still leaning towards bearish at this moment until it's disproven. And I apologize for some of the old markups that I had um, to actually explain to my students. So I'll just leave it here for now. Um, at this moment, for silver and gold, we are still bullish. bit actually. At this moment, we are still bullish. Um, Ideally, I would like to see the price come back down to this fair value, but I don't think it. I don't think there is a big chance for it to come back down here because, but we'll see. It's still potential right now, but we do need a drastic move back down to this internal liquidity, manipulate all these early longs, and then to have the real full move back up to this $32 range. So um, I'll just simulate some of the move here, and then something like that would be very ideal for me long. Gold definitely more bullish than silver at this moment. As you can see, gold has been creating higher high and higher low, but for silver is still within the same range. Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. This is the one that we actually missed out on. Uh, the entry for the past 2 weeks. I would say the past 2 weeks. I've actually posted the outlook on in the channel itself, maybe about 3 weeks ago when the price was still here somewhere. Um, or 3 weeks ago. It was actually very clear that we are actually going bullish order flow, um, creating this monthly fair value and a lower time frame. We had a weekly fair value created, even though it looks like it might have been got disrespected. But if we zoom back down, we can see that price uh, took out this high again, creating a new daily fair value. But it's just unfortunate that we didn't get any entry at this point of time. Price just kept going up and eventually tagged the TP without any entry given. But it was still a good analysis that we had. Um, Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, we had some equal lows created, aka the sell side liquidity for this case. On the monthly, I do see that we are still bearish at this moment. We have a monthly fair value overlapping with the weekly fair value. So I placed this line here is actually to have an alert for myself. I do want to see price coming back into this so-called the imbalance or the fair value, and this is also in the premium as an array. So I want to see the price come back here and eventually have a lower time frame shift, and then taking the short back down to this size sell side liquidity. That's the outlook that I have, but obviously I will also post any um, outlook going to the days. If I see any potential trades that can be taken moving forward, um, definitely you will see me pink in the channel. Nothing clear on this Aussie dollar and Japanese yen, so I'll skip that because it's just disrespecting the bullish fair value and disrespecting the bearish fair value as well. So it's a trap order flow right now until it's clear. Same as Canadian Japanese yen. Um, and to be honest, like for this one itself, um, we might be potential on a short, actually. So price came back to this weekly fair value, creating another weekly fair value to the downside. So minimum, at a very minimum, I would demand for a 4 hour shift. So something like that. At this moment, internal structure is still higher, high, high, low. Um, how you will see that is basically by pointing out this all this high and low internally. So you can see that price actually shift back to higher, 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 low in terms of internal structure. Eventually, if I will want to have a short, price will need to come back up again and then shift it and then take it down to the downside. Um, we need a very fair value creator in this case. So this is on watch actually. I do like this pair for short. I will just like it for now. Nothing really too crazy about this. I think I marked this out in the channel previously. We wanted this liquidity to be taken out. Eventually, it went directly to the move. Nothing much that I want to cover for this week. I think it's um, still unclear at this moment. So I think the move has already completed. Nothing really clear for this one. I'll skip it. Same for all this. I will explain a little bit on why or a lot of these pairs are actually unclear and I didn't flag it. Um, so there are a few futures bet that I actually put it on watch just for myself to as a reference basically. So 6A is for Aussie dollar futures, 6B is pound, 6C is Canadian dollar, 6E is euro, 6J is obviously the Japanese, 6N is New Zealand dollar, and 6S is Swiss franc. So if I were to go to this itself, this is for a futures trader. Um, Everything is still bullish at this moment. I think for at least for this range itself, it's still bullish. Um, Pound definitely bullish. Nothing much I would say. Canadian dollar, we have all this liquidity taken out. Right now we have created a weekly fair value, so it is not surprising that price want to take out the opposing liquidity at this point of time. So eventually, if this is still bullish, we might want to have price to go towards the external liquidity. 6E, similar to pound, is still bullish. 6J, it's unclear at this moment because I think we have taken out this ERL as well. So, yeah, so I think the liquidity has been taken out. We just have to wait for maybe a few more candle to play out to see what the next direction is. 6N, similar to Aussie dollar, this is still bullish. 6S, similarly. So the reason why I want to cover this is actually to go through a little bit on the reason behind. So if we want to long a cross pair or any pair that you actually have in Forex, we want to have the we want to have something like that. So this, assuming this XXXYYY is a forex pair, we if we want to long this pair, we want to make sure that X is the bullish pair and Y as a weaker pair, which is a bearish pair in this case. So as you can see that we actually gone through all these 7 pairs over here. We know that most of them are actually bullish. So it's a little bit difficult to find out which one to pair with to have a pair which is strong against a weak pair. The only pair that we know that it's bearish at this moment is DXY, which is the USD. So um, don't be surprised that you actually see a lot of these cross pairs that we don't flag just because that is not clear to us at this moment. So going back to all this forex pair over here, the cross pairs. As you can see on the weekly chart, you can see for the past probably about past 1 or 2 months, price has been ranging. I would think so. GBP CAD has also taken out all this external liquidity. Pound Swiss franc, I think we might have a chance going for long. Um, yeah, so this is a nice pair actually. This is a nice pair actually. I will cover this. Give me a second. So as you can see, there's a monthly fair value. Price dip back down to this order block, overlapping with this monthly fair value. Created a new weekly fair value here, and potentially another new weekly fair value over here. And that means that internal structure wise, we have created a higher low and a higher high. So right now we just have to wait for price to play out for the next week. We don't have to chase for any trades at this moment. So wait for the next candle to be played out, and we will know whether this new fair value will be created or not. And then potentially we can play the next leg up. People might see their price came back down very drastically, but if you zoom out on the monthly chart, we can see that this candle itself was just a wick, and wick is to do damages. Um, and then eventually it's just to manipulate all these late longs, and then price is still targeting all this external liquidity. This is a good one actually. I'll flag it as a weekly chart. Nothing clear for this one, so New Zealand dollar. We have monthly fair value, monthly fair value. On a daily wise, I don't think it's ready yet because I think for the past few weeks, what we have been doing is actually to liquidate all this buy side liquidity. There's no real move creating a new fair value going towards the upside. Um, if eventually this is the low that we have seen, we should see price going up and creating a new fair value here, and then taking the long up here to the external liquidity. But right now it's just destroying all this stop loss that people want to short. Um, I'll 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 still mark up this POI, but I'll just put it under KIV. This is also potential. Um, looks like cat is a little bit weaker though. So nothing on monthly. So monthly has already reacted. Um, and then weekly we have a very good reaction from this PD array. And then looks like we are bullish at this moment. It's hard to catch a move here actually. There's no new fair value being created over the last 1 week, I would say. The only one is over here. So I won't be surprised if price want to come back down to manipulate all this sell side liquidity, which is something like a trend line, if you want to call it. Um, so let's be patient. I think we will see the move maybe over the next few days. Nothing of this as well. External liquidity has been taken out. Price want to come back to this monthly fair value, overlapping with weekly fair value. So, yep. So this is a waiting game as well. Remember this. Um, on the New Zealand, sorry, the Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. Uh, well, I have this marked up for quite a while. When price was still here, was actually looking for a long back to this internal liquidity, which is the fair value. It looks like price has already taken out the internal liquidity. For this PD array itself, it's still bullish at this moment. If we want to go long, I don't think it's ready yet at this moment. We want to see a price up here and creating a new fair value so we can take that as the entry point if we are still bullish. If we are not, the other way would be liquidate the high and then break down from here. Sideway for CAD and Swiss franc and Euro GBP is a little bit clearer that Euro is weaker than pound. That's why we mentioned that if we want to long, we want to long pound dollar versus instead of the euro dollar. So nothing much. So I think we have only flagged few on in terms of daily and weekly. We had pound Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and maybe a scalp going into tomorrow Asian session, we had this sales and liquidity being taken out. So I think this is potential. I'm just trying to see whether price will still hold its point at this moment. Um, it's not surprising if price want to come back down, take out all this low, and then had a real move. So we just have to be patient a little bit to see whether price will react off this 1 hour fair value or really wanted to have the 4 hours fair value fill up at least 50% because right now it's not 50% yet. Um, it would be a gamble to actually long right away here. Um, if I think that's all for the forex side. It's pretty limited on forex side. I understand that, but again, if you guys have any pairs in terms of crypto or stocks, would like me to at least go through a little bit on the outlook, I can definitely do so. I can add it into the next stream, and then let me know anything that I need to improve. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining.